You know what I don't like? Whenever certain people shame or look down on people for eating frozen food, like frozen meals, frozen pizzas, etc., etc. Yeah. Because you'll have some of these people who act like all high and mighty, like they're so above eating frozen food and whatnot, you know, who will just look down on you and shame you for eating it, for just simply eating frozen food. They'll look at you like you're fucking trash, and oh, you look at you, you're trash. You're eating trash food, and you're eating trash frozen food. Oh, you must be trash, or whatever. Yeah, and they'll say things like, "Oh, you shouldn't eat that trash food. You shouldn't eat that trash frozen food. It's trash. It's not good. It's not good for you. You should go out and buy all these fresh ingredients and actually go out and spend time and effort and energy, preparing food and actually cooking it and making a proper meal for yourself. It's so much better and it's so easier. It's so easy to do. Blah blah. Better for you? Sure. I'll I'll agree with that. Yeah, it's probably better for you to do that. But easier or easy? Yeah, no. It's not. Maybe for you it is. Maybe for you, but not for everyone else. There's some people out there who can't really do that for multitude of reasons, Like, for example, food is expensive. Not everyone can afford, going out and buying all these fresh ingredients and all that. Not everyone can afford it because just like everything else nowadays, food is expensive. And all those fresher ingredients are probably going to cost a pretty penny if you were to just go out and buy them all. So not everyone can afford it. So yeah, it might be easier and affordable for you, but not for everyone else. Just think about that. Most people, a lot of people, or at least some people, I should say, with some people, all they can afford is frozen food, frozen meals, frozen stuff. Sometimes that's all people can afford. Sometimes you gotta, settle for lesser quality stuff when you're, poverty stricken or poor or whatever. Sometimes you gotta settle for that kind of stuff. Frozen foods. Food of lesser quality. Sometimes you gotta settle for that. Because sometimes that's all you can afford. So, yeah. And another thing, some people don't have time to, you know, do that sort of shit. They don't have time to go out and fetch all these fresh ingredients and prepare them and spend time cooking them and everything else. Not everyone has the time to do that. For one reason or the other. Like sometimes some people just all they have time for is, slapping something in the microwave and heating it up. Sometimes that's all people have time for. Some people have busy schedules and work and shit. Some people, yeah, that's all they have time for. And not everyone has the time to, cook a proper meal with all the, fresh ingredients and preparing it and all that. Not everyone has the time for that. And yeah. And also, not everyone wants to do it. You know, not everyone feels like doing that all the time. You know? Yeah. Not everyone feels like doing it all the time. Most of the time, some people just don't want to spend all that time and effort and energy, or they don't feel like spending all that time and effort and energy, you know, fixing a meal or preparing a meal or cooking a meal. Like, a lot of time, a lot of people just want something quick, something easy, something convenient, something they could just, you know, not spend so much time and effort and energy on. They just put it in the microwave and be done and eat it. Like, for example, say you have someone who works a 9 to 5 job. They spend pretty much all day working, and then they come home at night, and they're tired, they're exhausted, and probably hungry as well. And so sometimes all they feel like doing is just slapping something in the microwave and heating it up and eating it, and then probably passing out and going to bed. Sometimes that's all they feel like, that's all sometimes people feel like doing, you know? Not everyone feels like, you know, spending time and effort and energy on preparing a meal and cooking it and everything. And no, it's not because, oh, people are lazy, or people are getting lazy, or people are too lazy to, you know, do it. No. It's more about, not everyone wants to do it. Not everyone has to do it. It's more about convenience, you know. It's more about some people just preferring the quick and easy and the more convenient thing because of, you know, how they're feeling. You know, maybe they had a shit day. Maybe they worked too much. You know, maybe they spent all the day working, like I said, my example. You never know. And they don't have to have a proper reason to do it. Sometimes people just don't feel like fixing a full course fucking meal, getting all these fucking ingredients, fresh ingredients, and preparing it and cooking it and spending time and effort and energy on it. Some people just don't feel like doing that. And that's okay. Doesn't make them lazy. But, yeah, I digress. You shouldn't shame or look down on people for eating frozen food. Frozen meals, frozen pizzas, frozen any kind of food related thing. Doesn't matter. You shouldn't shame or look down on people for doing it. Because you don't know. You don't know their lives. You don't know what they're going through. You don't know what they're feeling. You don't know. You don't know the reason why they're eating frozen food. It could be for, you know, that's all they could afford. Or it's the only thing they have time for. Or it's the only thing they feel like fixing for themselves, you know. You don't know. You don't know what people are, how, you know, about people's lives and what they're going through and what they're feeling and, you know, everything. You don't know. So don't shame or look down on people for eating frozen food of any kind. And, yeah.